our big pitch is status quo sucks, right? Doing it the same way. So do something.
Gary, vCom's been helping companies with IT spend and lifecycle management for over 2 decades now. And thinking back to the company's origin, tell me about how vCom came into existence and what the particular triggers were that decided or that made you decide it was time to act.
I had been the CEO of a company in San Francisco called NetWorld, and we were doing, we were basically a hardware VAR, doing a lot of Cisco implementations, kind of did a lot of the .com stuff. And I kind of, through that process and following the .com crash, we were also helping a few of our customers with connectivity. And one of the things that became clear to me when I was doing that was we had a lot of customers that really didn't understand the connectivity side of things, what they were paying, what their bill said. You know, we would send our best engineers to go talk about Cisco, and they would go toe to toe with these enterprises talking about Cisco, but everybody openly admitted they had no clue about the carrier stuff. I always thought that was an interesting thing. Like, why fight them on who's smarter in the room on Cisco when they all openly admit they don't know anything about the connectivity side? So I kind of saw this little niche and said, look, initially it was just like helping customers understand what they were paying for, why, who was using it, why, should we be using it, why, and kind of that kicked us off.
Tell me a little bit about your customers and, what are the problems that they have? What challenges do they face that really lead them to talking to you in vCom?
Back then, if you kind of narrow it down to, like, we were helping customers manage their recurring telco costs. And now we just say we're helping you manage all your recurring IT spend. And as those that have followed the industry, everything's moved recurring. Your software's now recurring in SaaS. Your data center's now recurring in cloud. Mobility is a massive enterprise technology spend. Collaboration, Office 365, UCaaS, CCaaS, everything has moved into a recurring expense. And the recurring expenses have to be onboarded and offboarded and really understand it. I think that's one of the things that happens is people just don't, it's not the same old world where I bought a big $10,000 purchase and accounting depreciates it over 7 years, right? The world is changed, but the premise is the same, which is you don't really have any visibility in your recurring IT expenses. And we provide a bundle of software and managed services. The key for us is it's a bundle, meaning we can't just dump the software off. We're a SaaS play, but we can't just dump the software off and say good luck. And we can throw all the people we want at it from a managed services perspective, but without the software, it doesn't really work. So the magic is in the combination of a software and a team. We go by spend, so that's kind of the 50,000 a month all the way up to $1 million a month. Kind of is our sweet spot. I think 50 million in revenue to kind of $1 billion in revenue would be probably a Gartner sweet spot of the mid market. 200,000 firms, so plenty of people to talk to. But we just found that marketplace still doesn't have an answer here, stressed on resources, haven't developed that software. And so that combination of the bundle and then I can get through the problems we solve, we're really geared straight towards the mid-market.
Maybe you could highlight some of the hidden problems that mid-market or that mid-market organizations have. What challenges do they have that are maybe unique to their position that vCom can help support?
We focus around we've categorized our bundles into 3 products: planning and procurement, operations management, and expense management. And then we really have kind of 3 modules under each. So under planning and procurement, we have solution design, sourcing, and contract management. And then kind of under operations management, we have order management, asset management, and service and support. And then kind of under expense management, we have invoice management, accounting, and analytics. And we kind of attack it from those 3 perspectives. And there's people doing, the IT advisory space is very deep into planning and procurement. They can certainly help you design and source things, but they don't really do operations management and expense management. And then there's the MSP community that does a lot of managed network services, and you can outsource your NOC, right? And we have a NOC, and that's a very, a 10,000 vendors who do that, but they don't really do planning and procurement or expense management. And then you have expense management. You guys know the space well, all the TEMs, but we don't think they really do operations management or planning and procurement well, or even go to the mid-market. So our pitch is there's 9 problems. I walked through those 9 modules we have. And so they really matched up to the 9 problems or the 9 jobs or the 9 phases of a recurring IT asset or recurring IT expense or service. And our just fundamental belief is somebody has to do all that. Somebody has to do all those 9 things. It's just a matter of if you're doing it, how well you're doing it, and if you'd rather just have somebody else do it, right? We do this for a living. We work with a lot of banks, law firms. That's what they do for a living. They do it twice a year. We do it 50 times a day. It's really diving into their problems, right? And how we can help solve them. If we run to the pain, and everybody might have a different pain, you're talking to accounting and their pain might be invoice management. You're talking to IT and their pain might be operations management or planning procurement, or they may have a specific project, like literally, like we're looking at UCAS right now. We'd love you to run that, kind of that, we call it a buyer's journey. Think of that as the same thing as like a more sophisticated RFP process, but where we run through and help them look at all the vendors, pick the vendors, really understand the landscape. Again, negotiate with the vendors, something we do every day on a UCAS deal. They've done once every 3 years, if ever, right? If they negotiated that. So really just sprinting to the pain on one of these areas and kind of, like I said earlier, educating the marketplace that there's a better mousetrap. At the end of the day, we're here to take this off your plate. We're here to give you a life cycle view and a holistic view of all your recurring IT spend. Who's using it? Why? Where's it going? How much is it costing you? Should it cost you that? Are you buying the best products at the best rates? Are you utilizing the best technologies? The reality is you can't do this without a software. That's a fundamental belief of ours. We'll bring up our competitors' names and say, go talk to someone. Our big pitch is status quo sucks, right? Doing it the same way. So do something. And you need a software. And you could argue whether you need a team or help. The big enterprises do buy the software and have their own team. But our pitch is buy the software and get the additional resources. Someone who's actually placing these orders. Somebody who's up at 2 a.m. calling the carriers, somebody who's loading your invoice, paying your invoice. We still think there's as I said, a large component of the bundle of both platform and managed services.
What is it that makes your customers say, I'm really glad I partnered with vCom. I wish I'd done it sooner?
I think the end result, right? One of the things we talk about is we deliver 3 values from working with us, right? 3 values that are core to what we're doing. And that's the value of time, the value of information, and the value of money. It's an interesting thing we talk a lot about, Tim, that you would think we survey our customers every year, and every year we think money is going to come out the number 1. And it's very close. There's nothing like, oh, this is by far, but it's always usually equal. But time and information historically outrank money. I think money is a byproduct of it. But as you know, someone might value their time or information now is in this world we live in is key, right? How do you make business decisions without timely information? And so we're delivering you the information to make better decisions faster, obviously giving you back time, and that end result ends up being money. But I'd say those values are, when we nail that, when we have a good partnership with our customer and nail those values, that's when they say, I wish I'd found you sooner.